Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Today I'm going to speak to you about a prenuptial agreement. So what is a prenup agreement? So a prenup agreement is an agreement on assets that were accumulated before the marriage and not just what's jointly accumulated during the marriage. So essentially it's an agreement on what to do with those assets if you were to divorce. So you may think a prenup agreement is usually put in place by, celebrities, industrial tycoons, or just the mega rich. But actually, if you have a home or a business that you owned prior to marriage, the prenup agreement is put in place to protect those assets if you were to divorce. So it's definitely worth thinking about putting one in place. And I know it's a difficult subject to talk about with the person you're going to marry, but nobody anticipates divorce, or maybe it's not something that you want to think about when you're just about to get married. But if you were in those unfortunate circumstances and were to divorce, it would make it easier to come to an agreement if you already had a prenuptial agreement in place. So it's definitely worth doing. And it's also allowed in Islam. You are allowed to have a prenuptial agreement in place, and obviously the promises have to be fulfilled that are in that agreement, but you must ensure obviously the conditions in the agreement aren't against the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah, if that makes sense. So a prenuptial agreement can be entered into, at least has to be entered into 28 days before the wedding date, and a family lawyer should be able to help you put one in place. And if you don't fully understand what it entails, obviously ask those questions to the family lawyer so you have good knowledge of what it entails before you sign anything. And like I said, I know it's a difficult subject to talk about, but nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. None of us are Michael J. Fox, so we can't go back to the future. So it's best to prepare for the worst whilst you're sort of at your best, if that makes sense. So I hope this video helps. Have a lovely day, and I will speak to you soon.